Was BronBreakker able to contain his cool? Or did Joe Gacy's mind games manage to have BronBreakker lose his cool and give the title to Gacy? Is Mandy Rose still the top dominant female in NXT? Or was the upstart Wendy Chu able to play her games and throw off Mandy Rose to get the title? And how about the rest of Toxic Attraction? Are JC Jane and Gigi Dolan able to continue their success as the reigning tag team champions? Or were the long-time, very talented Kaden Carter and Katana Chance able to finally rise to the top and get those women's tag team titles? Were Pretty Deadly able to continue their success in transitioning over from NXT UK? Or the upstart Creed brothers, who are also the Dusty Cup champions, able to overcome all the odds and get the win? What about the incredible matchup we have between two of the hottest names in NXT, CarmeloHayes and Cameron Grimes, battling for that North American Championship, with a very, very eager Solo Sikoa waiting in the background to find out who he's going to be facing? And as well, what do we think about the family battle? Who's going to beat who and take over as the number one family in NXT, and who's just going to be joining that family as we go by? What's going on, everybody? This is MYG Jeffy T 3285, and I'm here for your NXT In Your House review. And I thought overall the show was actually very good. Call me a mark, say anything like that. I actually thought the wrestling tonight, there wasn't really any down match. Some matches were a little bit better than others, but I actually thought that tonight overall was a very positive show for NXT. The crowd was very lively for a good amount of the night. There was very well executed moves. I thought some of the storytelling in the matches was very good. And I just thought overall NXT did a really good job. Was it a vintage NXT shows of past times? Probably not. But I would still say overall NXT was a very positive show. And they started out the show very, very hot with the who is the most dominant family in NXT? Is it Tony D'Angelo and his boys, Stacks and Two Dimes? Or is it the very, very powerful, incredibly catchy Tone and very, very over Legado del Fantasma, Escobar, Del Toro, and Wild, along with Elektra Lopez? And man, was the crowd hot for this match. Even before these two teams swung a punch at each other, the crowd was going nuts. Fully behind Legado del Fantasma, completely. And even Tony D'Angelo and his boys got some cheers. And the second that Tony D'Angelo and Santos Escobar got into the ring, the crowd just absolutely started eating it alive. This was just an absolutely great way to start the show. The crowd was hot. Each team were able to execute their maneuvers, especially Legado del Fantasma doing their traditional flip. One guy flips through the middle rope, hits a clothesline. Next guy tags in his partner, flips through the middle ropes, hits a drop kick, tag back in, flips through the middle rope, hits another clothesline over and over and over again. They were able to do that consistently. Legado del Fantasma, they originally did it against Two Dimes in the matchup. And one of the coolest spots I thought in this matchup was when Joaquin Wilde and Cruz del Toro ran up the top ropes on each side, did a plancha dive over that, and then Santos Escobar opposite the ring did a nice plancha right through the second rope to take out Tony D. I thought this match had just so much energy. The pacing was very good, very quick. It was just a very fun matchup overall. I cannot complain at all. I thought this was a very good way to kick off NXT In Your House. And actually, a very interesting way that this match ended, with both teams trying to show off their dominance. Elektra Lopez hands Santos Escobar the brass knucks, but at the same time, Stacks hands Tony D the crowbar. And at one point, Cruz del Toro managed to get the knucks after a couple of moves that happened before, nail Stacks right in the face, but Tony D picked up those dropped brass knuckles and just managed to nail Cruz del Toro right into the face and knock him to the ground, and then just a knocked out, unconscious Stacks just falls right on top of Cruz del Toro for the win. So it was a very innovative way to win the match, and Tony D and his boys ended up being the number one team overall in NXT. And of course, the stipulation of this match is whoever won this match, the other family had to join that faction. And what ended up happening, Legado del Fantasma is now part of Tony D'Angelo's faction. So Santos, Cruz, Joaquin, and Elektra are now all part of the Tony D family. But overall, I thought this was a very good match. Lots of energy, crowd full behind it. I thought it was just a fun way to start and kick off NXT. So I thought I'd give this match very solid 3.75, maybe even 4 stars out of 5. Thought this was a great way to start the show. And then next we moved on to the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, where we had Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, formerly Casey Catanzaro. They were coming into this match, been in NXT for a while, never really had that big matchup in terms of being on a top-level show, going for the NXT Tag Team Championships. But man, have they really been on a roll lately, and they've been that thorn in the side of Toxic Attraction for the past couple of months. And I've really been impressed with the way that Chance and Carter have been displaying their offense. So they have gelled well together. They're best friends in real life, and they show it in the ring too, because they have incredible chemistry with each other. And I thought there were some really cool spots in this match. Of course, the beginning spot with Casey Catanzaro doing the corkscrew over the top rope. And of course, Kaden doing that very, very awesome splash over the top off the side of the ramp. I thought that was a pretty cool moment. Obviously, that Russian leg sweep and 450 splash towards the middle of the matchup. And I thought with all the momentum, especially the way the entrances came out, I really thought that they were going to put the belts on Kaden and Katana. That it just felt like that this was their night. Toxic Attraction has already had a really strong run. 2-time women's champions. I really thought that this was going to be the night they were going to transition, hand the belts over to Katana and Kaden. But surprisingly, that wasn't the case, as Kaden was able to hit the move on Gigi Dolan to knock her down, but JC Jane, in a little bit through like a roll up, was able to knock Kaden in the face after she got thrown into the ropes, and Gigi Dolan was able to roll her up and get the pin, and Toxic Attraction was able to retain the titles, which is a little bit of a shock because I did think that Kaden and Katana were going to be able to pull this off. I actually thought that that was going to be one of the changes in terms of title change, but that was not the case, as Toxic Attraction is so far 1-0 in their title defenses, as they were able to knock off the very, very impressive Kaden Carter and Katana Chance to retain their NXT Tag Team Women's Championships. I thought it was a good match. Had a little bit of mix-up spots at some points, but I still thought it was a good match overall. More impressed with how Kaden and Katana came into the match. Gigi Dolan's good. Thought this was one of JC Jane's better performances, so I'd probably give this one a 3.5 out of, maybe like a 3 or a 3.5 out of 5-star match. I thought it was good. Not like the first matchup. I thought it was still a very good match. Now we're getting to the NXT North American Championship, where I was going into this show tonight, and I really was thinking this was going to be the match of the night. I was really feeling like this was going to be the match to look forward to, because we all know how good CarmeloHayes is. I think this is one of the best talents in NXT and maybe even in WWE overall. I think this guy's a 5-tool wrestler. Great promo ability. He can go in the ring. He's got that look. I think this guy has megastar written all over him when he gets to the main roster. And we all know how good Cameron Grimes is, especially with that To The Moon entrance. And these two guys did not disappoint in their match tonight. I thought there were some really awesome spots in this match. Some really scary spots too. And I'll tell you 2 of those spots right there. That over the rope diving DDT on the edge of the that apron where Cameron Grimes did a front flip. That was a scary moment, but it was a great sell job by Cameron Grimes, an excellent executed move by CarmeloHayes. These guys are just impressive. I really just enjoyed the hell out of this match. I mean, just watching these two is a treat. Good exchanges back and forth. Obviously, Trick Williams, he got involved in the match, trying to do everything he can to help Cameron Grimes be able to come out. Help CarmeloHayes be able to come up on top. And in the end, after Cameron Grimes was going for the cave-in, Trick Williams was able to come into the matchup, distract Cameron Grimes enough for CarmeloHayes to hit a dropkick and then go to the top rope and be able to hit. First, I forgot to say it, Cameron Grimes hit a sick Poison Rana on CarmeloHayes, where CarmeloHayes' body just really slid out of the ring like a slip and slide. He really slip and slide out of the ring like a dead carcass. It was a pretty cool spot. A little scary though. And then Trick Williams managed to get involved into this match again. Distract Cameron Grimes enough where CarmeloHayes was able to hit a drop kick and then be able to go to the top rope and hit his signature leg drop and be able to get the 1-2-3 fall and become a 2-time NXT North American champion. I really thought that Cameron Grimes in the end was going to be able to retain his title. I just thought he had all the momentum. But I mean, CarmeloHayes, it's just really hard not to put the title on this guy. He is truly money. This guy is money. He just gives that. He just feels like that NXT North American title just has way more prestige around the waist of CarmeloHayes. And I think it was the right move. And I honestly think just having the belt on CarmeloHayes just gives that belt a little bit more prestige. And that's no disrespect, because I really am a big fan of Cameron Grimes. But I just think the title just belongs on CarmeloHayes right now. And I think him and Solo Sikoa are going to have a nice little program. Now, what does this mean for Cameron Grimes? Does that mean he's going to be headed to the main roster? Is there going to be a rematch that's going to come out again? Maybe these two will have a go one more time at NXT Great American Bash, which they promoted. That's going to be happening on July 5th. NXT show on USA Network. Overall, I thought this was the best match of the night. I really loved everything these two guys did. I would give this match a 4 out of 5 stars, maybe 4.25. I really just loved what these two guys did. And I think CarmeloHayes is just a megastar in the making. And as long as he continues to get booked strong, I think WWE has themselves one of these guys that they can build a company around in CarmeloHayes. So I thought that was just a great matchup overall. I cannot give any more praise than these two guys deserve in this match. Fun match overall, and great way to have the middle of the card go. Then we were getting to the NXT Women's Championship. This was one of the matches. This was probably the match I was least looking forward to seeing, because I really respect what Wendy Chu does in the ring. I think she's a very, very underappreciated wrestler. I think she's very talented, but at the same time, I have a hard time getting behind the gimmick. You know, the play fun, onesie, type of gimmick where she's like a little kid enjoying life. I mean, the crowd eats it up. I just don't know if I could see her becoming an NXT Women's Champion. I don't think it would just be a good luck. And I just love the way that NXT has booked Mandy Rose. I mean, Mandy Rose, this is what Mandy Rose should have been booked like on the WWE main roster. She should be booked like that nasty, evil, bully-like woman, sexy type woman that all men want and all women wish they can be. And that's exactly how she's being booked in NXT. And I think this is the best run that Mandy Rose... Actually, it's not even I think. This is the best run that Mandy Rose has been on in her career. And she really has been very impressive with her wrestling ability and her promo ability. And I think she's done a great job since becoming NXT Women's Champion. And I actually thought this match was pretty solid. Was it great? No. But I actually thought this match was pretty solid. Wendy Chu actually showed some aggression towards the end of the match, which is absolutely needed, because the fun, the lovable games and all that, it wasn't going to sell throughout most of this match. So I thought it was a very nice transition to have Wendy Chu be able to show more of a serious side to her. Mandy Rose hit some impressive moves, including that overlock throw behind her back. I thought that was a nice move. Wendy Chu was able to lock in that chokehold, which almost looked like she was going to be able to get Mandy Rose to tap. A couple of nice near falls in this matchup. Wendy Chu was almost able to hit that elbow drop off the top, even using her pillow to be able to stop a drop kick. For when Mandy Rose went for a drop kick, Wendy Chu was able to throw the pillow in there to try to distract her. So I thought that was a nice little element. But right when you think Wendy Chu might have a shot at winning this, it just wasn't her night. And Mandy Rose was able to get her high knee, running high knees a la similar to Daniel Bryan, and was able to retain the NXT Women's Championship. And I thought this was the right move. So Toxic Attraction was able to go 2-0, and they were able to retain their titles. And overall, I thought this was the right decision because I think Toxic Attraction right now is the best thing going in the women's division. And I didn't think it was time for them to drop the titles yet. Are they going to drop the titles eventually? Absolutely. But I think right now, Mandy Rose, JC Jane, Gigi Dolan, I think these women are doing the best job right now in NXT. And I don't think they're ready to drop those titles yet. So I thought the match was pretty solid. I would give it probably a solid 3.25. Like a solid, actually I would give it a solid 3 out of 5. Like 2.75, 3 out of 5. I thought it was a good match. Much better than I thought it would be. But I don't think it was, oh, I got to go back and watch this match. I thought it was great. No. I thought it was a solid matchup. Kudos to Wendy Chu. Good job showing aggression towards the end of the match, but I thought the right woman won. I think Mandy Rose still brings more. I think she still has a lot more to offer that title, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen, especially when we find out who's going to be the winner of the NXT Breakout Tournament that's going to be happening on Tuesday. What direction they're going to go in terms of that. Then we move on to the NXT Tag Team Championships. The longest reigning NXT UK Tag Team Champions, Pretty Deadly, against the upstart but very strong crowd fully behind them, Creed Brothers, who are also, like I mentioned earlier in the video, the Dusty Classic champions. And I thought this match was a little sloppy at the beginning. I think each team was still filling themselves out. Two different styles. Pretty Deadly's more of like an uptick, a little bit more fast-paced team, while the Creed Brothers are a little bit more ground and pound. Nice little token there, having the Creed's mother and father sitting in the crowd cheering them on, and the crowd was fully behind the Creed Brothers in this match. I mean, it was 100% fully behind them. Pretty Deadly doing their little gimmick stuff, their little things that they're doing, to try to ruffle up the Creed Brothers' faces. I thought the beginning of the match was a little slow, a little clunky, but I mean, towards the middle and even towards the end of the match, it started to pick up a little bit more. And I thought two of the best spots in this matchup was Brutus Creed tagging in after Julius got just knocked all over the place. Brutus Creed coming to the match and hitting that really cool looking like cannonball type move onto Prince in the middle of the ring, and just being able to knock him down the ground, getting a close near fall, and then being able to tag Julius back into the matchup. Kip Williams throwing the tag team belts in there, trying to egg on Julius to hit him in the face, get a disqualification. And then Julius just looks into the crowd, sees his father, and he knows that this isn't the right move to do. So he hands the championship over to the referee. Kip Williams tries to go for the cheap shot, ducks him. Brutus hits him, knocks down Kip. And then Julius Creed did something that I didn't think he was going to be able to do. He had a picture-perfect shooting star press off the top rope, and then his signature clothesline, and the Creed Brothers were able to dethrone Pretty Deadly and become the new NXT Tag Team Champions in a really nice feel-good moment. And then the Creed Brothers head to the outside and they start celebrating with their mother and father in a really nice feel-good moment. I thought the match overall, it was solid. I would probably say, unfortunately, I think it was the worst match of the night. Still solid, not great. Had some clunkiness in the beginning because of the two different contrasting styles of these two teams in the middle of the ring. But it's just a great feel-good moment, and I'm happy for the Creed Brothers. They've really come a long way since the beginning, when they first came in with Diamond Mine coming in as those heels, but they've really built themselves in a really solid baby faces, the crowd fully behind them, and just a nice way to hand these guys over the tag team championships, and they've become that dominant team in NXT. So the Creed Brothers are able to become the NXT Tag Team Champions in a really nice feel-good moment and a very solid match. I would probably give this one a 2.75 out of 5. It's okay. solid matchup. Clunkiness in the beginning was probably what deterred me away a little bit, but a good feel-good moment in the end. So that's why I would try to bump it up. I'd probably say it would have been about a 2.5 at best, but just the feel-good moment bumps it up from a 2.75 maybe to a 3, but I would probably say like a 2.75. So good feel-good moment. Congratulations to the Creeds for becoming the new NXT Tag Team Champions. And then we get to the NXT Championship match. The crazy, deranged, lunatic, psychological welfare of Joe Gacy against the unhinged, gonna beat you down, angered, but prideful champion BronBreakker. And this has been a story that's been going on for a few months. Joe Gacy playing psychological warfare on BronBreakker, trying to get him to lose his anger, lose his temper, including stealing his father, and just doing all these psychological warfare to try to make sure that BronBreakker loses his cool. And the stipulation in this matchup was, if BronBreakker goes too over the top and loses his cool, that Joe Gacy would become the NXT champion because BronBreakker would be disqualified and lose his championship. And I thought this match was actually very good. I really was impressed by some of the things that Joe Gacy did in this matchup. And the crowd actually, very ironically, was very pro-Gacy. I mean, there was a lot of let's go Gacy, Gacy sucks. Obviously coming off a spin-off of like the John Cena chants. Not really a lot of cheers or anything for Breakker. It was a lot of Gacy stuff. And I mean, Gacy throwing out that psychological warfare at BronBreakker in the middle of the match, including pulling out the famous Eddie Guerrero move where he smashes the chair in the ground and pretends that Breakker hit him in the face. And it looked like the referee was just about to call for the disqualification on BronBreakker, but another referee comes in just before he makes the call and pretty much says, nope, that's not what happened. Breakker didn't do anything, and the match continues. And then Joe Gacy tries to hit a low blow and tries to pick up the cheap victory in there, but BronBreakker was able to overcome that, and he was able to continue the matchup. And another pretty cool spot, which just shows off the incredible athleticism of BronBreakker, he was able to do the over-the-top senton right on top of Gacy. That was a pretty cool move for a guy that brought a BronBreakker size and is showing off his athleticism. Now towards the end of the matchup, Joe Gacy still playing more psychological warfare, hands the steel chair to BronBreakker, trying to egg him on to try to tell him that. It's like telling him, hit me in the face, do it. BronBreakker's like thinking in his head, like, do I want to hit him, but take my chance of losing the title? So in the end, BronBreakker, because one of Joe Gacy's druids, who he's been having him with him for the past, about a month or so, BronBreakker ends up hitting the druid in the face. At the same time, Joe Gacy is going for his springboard, handstand springboard clothesline, but BronBreakker is able to hit him with the spear in mid-spring. So it's a pretty cool move, and BronBreakker was able to put him up and hit him with that power slam type move, and he was able to retain the title. So even after all that psychological warfare, even after trying to goat BronBreakker to lose his cool, and after all that Joe Gacy has done to BronBreakker for the past couple of months, BronBreakker was able to keep his cool enough, and he was able to defeat Joe Gacy and still remain the NXT World Champion. I would probably give this match a 3.75, maybe even close to a 4. Actually, I really enjoyed this matchup. I thought Gacy was very impressive. I thought it was pretty cool how the crowd was split 50-50 with let's go Gacy, Gacy sucks. I actually really just enjoyed this match. I mean, some people might disagree. They might not. Some people are just not fans of Joe Gacy. I actually really think this guy is more impressive than fans give him credit. And BronBreakker, he's the chosen right now in NXT. Nobody's taking that title off him right now. I don't see anybody in NXT at the moment that's good enough right now to take that title off of BronBreakker. And then we got a little bit. So BronBreakker ends up retaining his championship. And then we got some footage of what's going to be happening this coming Tuesday on NXT. And like I brought up before, we're going to have the championship or the finals of the NXT Breakout Tournament. Tiffany Stratton, who I've become a big fan of. I really just like her gimmick. I think she's very good in the ring. I think Tiffany Stratton is destined for greatness in the WWE. I just like her overall. And I mean, Roxanne Perez, another one. She's just got that lovable character to her. Like, you know, the woman that's had to work, the young lady who has had to work her way for years on the independent scene to work her way to this moment in WWE and trying to be able to overcome all the odds. So it's like the person that was, you know, handpicked by WWE in a way, like Tiffany Stratton, who cheated her way to get into this matchup because she was able to take the spot of when Nikita Lyons got hurt when she injured her PCL. I'm sorry, she sprained her MCL. And it's just like a little bit of a, you know, Tiffany Stratton, handpicked person, gets to the finals against Roxanne Perez, who had to fight her way to get to the top. So it's like that little dynamic you got going there. And you got Alba Fire, formerly Kaylee Ray, who she cut a promo earlier on the show talking about how she's going to, you know, go to her roots and she's going to try to hone everything together and get back to her roots and be the type of wrestler that we all know she can be. She's going to be taking on the young upstart Tatum Paxley, who in a backstage segment with her and Lash Legend, we're talking about, you know, trying to make an impact and trying to take down, you know, Alba Fire. And Tatum Paxley is going to rise to the occasion and try to take down Alba Fire. So we're going to have that matchup going on. And then we're also going to have Josh Briggs, who's trying to avenge his partner Jensen, who was injured by Von Wagner a few weeks ago. He's going to be taking on Wagner, who's actually been very dominant with him since he's been partnered up with Robert Stone and Sophia Cromwell. So it's going to be Von Wagner versus Josh Briggs on this coming NXT Tuesday. So overall, I would say NXT In Your House, I would give it a very positive grade. I very much enjoyed this pay-per-view. I thought the wrestling was very good. I thought some of the I thought the storyline, the storytelling in the matches was very good. And overall, I just really enjoyed the show, and that's back-to-back NXT pay-per-views. I thought they did a very good job. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, was it like a vintage NXT pay-per-view of past? Probably not, but I still think overall this is a very good show. I'd probably give it at least a B show. I thought it was a B-type show, very positive. Good job by NXT. Pretty much having all their titles defended. I didn't think there was a really bad match on this show. Like I said, I would probably say the tag team titles was probably the probably the worst match of this show, and I didn't think it was that bad. So kudos to NXT, and I thought it was a good way to lead into the Hell in the Cell weekend. And now let's see what the WWE main roster can do on Hell in the Cell come Sunday. So that's just my NXT review for In Your House. If you like the video, please hit the like button on below. Turn on the bell for any notifications for any WWE, New York Giants, New York Mets, Brooklyn Nets, food for thought videos that are going to be coming in the future. Hit the like button below and subscribe if you haven't already to NYG Jeffrey T 3285 for more WWE news, more WWE updates, and any other content that's going to be coming out in the near future. And leave a comment below on what your overall thoughts were for NXT In Your House. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, what was your favorite match, your favorite moments, what you wish was better, and what your opinion is, and what do you think is going to happen in Hell in the Cell come tomorrow night. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and have a great night. NXT In Your House, closing it down. Good show. We'll see you on Tuesday for NXT. Have a great night, everybody. WWE, we out.